me that he got another trio. And I think they sing Christian funk. Is that right, Doug? They didn't show up tonight. It's a wonderful trio, Kellogg, Brown, and Root. But you know what? They're very, very expensive. And they're not that good. And they didn't show up. But Doug is here. And without further ado, I want to bring up Jamie. And he is going to tell us what's up next for FTCI this year. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Jamie Court.
Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us on our 20th anniversary. Harvey showed you a little earlier where we've been, and I want to tell you a little bit about where we're going. And I'd like to introduce to you the people who are going to bring us there, the staff of FTCR. FTCR is about, and will continue to be about, changing the balance of power between average people and the rich and powerful who abuse their position to threaten our money, our health, our energy, our safety, our financial security, and our rights. And in the next few years, on many fronts, we're going to further the consumer's power. On insurance regulation, we're not just going to be protecting our Prop 103 gains and celebrating the end of zip code-based auto insurance rating, which is happening this year. We're going to be expanding those gains. I'll give you a good example of a program that many of you may not have heard about, but it is a vital program we started at FTCR. It's called a Lifeline Auto Insurance Policy. And most folks here wouldn't qualify for it, but it is a $350 policy for people who are up to 250% of the poverty line. And it now exists in LA and Los Angeles thanks to legislation we sponsored in the State House. This year, we actually expanded it to 10 counties in California. It is the first low-cost auto policy, flat-rate auto policy for consumers anywhere in the nation. And all they have to do to qualify is be low income. In the next 2 years, we are going to expand that program everywhere in California. FTCR pioneered the HMO rights movement, as many of you know. And like the mayor, we actually believe the time has come for universal health coverage in the state of California. We think that covering every patient by curbing the profiteering of the healthcare industry and of drug companies isn't just pie in the sky. We think it's pie in the face of the HMOs and insurers who have lined their pockets at the expense of patients in this state. And we're going to keep throwing those pies. And we're going to keep throwing them with our allies like the Nurses Association until we're at 100% health insurance coverage in California before the end of this decade, before 2010. FTCR has done battle with a lot of arrogant companies, but I think the most arrogant have been the oil companies. They've tried to manipulate the price at the pump, and they've succeeded. We've had some success in stopping them by, for instance, keeping open a refinery in Bakersfield a few years ago, last year, to make sure we wouldn't allow the gas supply to be threatened anymore. Now Chevron, which made more profits this year than in its any year in its 126-year history, wants to use those windfall profits for a November ballot measure. And that ballot measure, which got a title and summary from our Attorney General, it's called Immunity from Punitive Damages. We're given immunity from punitive damages for polluting the groundwater with MTBE. This is an initiative that Chevron is actually backing for November. And let me tell you something, we're not going to let Chevron get away with it. I've been shocked very recently to find there are many people who would tell us you can't fight big oil. You got to lay down because they're too big and powerful and they have too much money. It's probably the same people who are telling us when we were looking at Arnold Schwarzenegger's inauguration. He's too big and powerful. You can't take his celebrity down. Well, let me tell you something. The bigger they are, the harder they fall. And for those people, maybe some in this room, who believe that when a bully steps up and threatens you, backing away is the way to back them down, let me remind you a little bit of what Edmund Burke said. Edmund Burke said, the only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing. Every day at the foundation we have, and we will continue to stand up to the arrogant industries and the corrupt politicians that threaten to put themselves above our social mores and our rule of law, and to try to take too much money from us. Lately, that's been a bigger and bigger problem. And thank you for coming tonight, because it's your support tonight that lets us carry on. So thank you all for being here. I'd like to introduce very briefly the people at the foundation who do this work daily, and I'll ask them to rise as their names are called. You've already met Doug Heller. Doug Heller is the future of the consumer movement in the United States of America, and it is in very, very good hands. Sherry Flanagan. Sherry Flanagan is our healthcare policy director and the hardest working consumer advocate in the United States of America, literally. Drug companies nature most fear no one more. Pam Presley, our litigation director. Pam is the light on in that office at 9 o'clock at night when you're driving by 1750 Ocean Park Boulevard. She's fighting to stop surcharges on uninsured motorists. She's one of the best lawyers in California, and we're so glad to have her. Carmen Balber. Where's Carmen? Carmen's the next generation, and at the tender age of 29, she's shepherded through 6 California cities the toughest conflict of interest laws for California politicians in the nation. John Simpson, who joined us recently from USA Today. John actually whipsawed our stem cell institute into, for the first time of any institute in America, forcing companies that get grants to give public ownership of patents and to make those grant products, the products of stem cell research available to the poor, to keep that institute honest. David Fink is not here tonight, but he's the guy tracking Arnold's money and Arnold's whereabouts all the time at Arnold Watch. And Mark Reback is here. He's our office manager and our roadie. And he makes sure wherever the show goes, it goes on. Judy Dugan is our latest hire and our newest member. She's in the back. She was formerly the deputy editorial page editor at the LA Times, and she proves there is a life of hell-raising after the Tribune Company. We're very glad to have you with us. Greg Good is here, and he's our legal intern, and we can't wait for him to graduate because there aren't enough public interest lawyers in America like Greg, and he's going to make a great one. Let me also ask the board of the foundation to stand up. I think there's a table right there. Kathy Olson, who you met in one of the videos, who led the patients' rights movement. Sherry Brown-Beggy, who is a patients' rights advocate who straightened out HMOs herself. Chip Wall, who is a businessman who's teaching us all of business's tricks. And Ellen Stortman, who is a journalist and author, and if you haven't caught her one-woman show now that she's gone, you gotta catch it. It's a knockout. So you may have noticed there's somebody I didn't mention yet. Harvey? Harvey? Where is he? Harvey? We realize we've never, ever given Harvey an award at one of these events, so here it is. Harvey, come on up. This is presented to Harvey for leading the way for 20 years, and it has a quote from another consumer advocate, Ralph Nader, that says, "The function of leadership is to produce more leaders, not followers." I can't really think of a better quote to sum up Harvey. Except maybe this one. Let me give you one more quote that Harvey loves. Harvey loves Emiliano Zapata's quote, "It's better to die on your feet than live on your knees." And Harvey has done Emiliano Zapata one better. That's a lesson to a lot of people in this room. Unlike testified. He's never been on his knees, and he's never died. He's still living. So, thank you all.
I am too young for this award.